I've mentioned on Teachings and Tangents before that I really had a hard time journaling and I couldn't get into it. Something that goes hand in hand with journaling is people doing gratitude lists, a gratitude journal, right? Or even just thinking about things in your life that you're grateful for. And I found that really hard too. And it wasn't until I discovered that gratitude was way more than just I'm thankful for something or I appreciate something, right? Gratitude for me and what helped me to be able to make gratitude lists, to do my gratitude journal, what's helped me to embrace this feeling of having gratitude, right? And living in a state of gratitude. And and side note is that that's the easiest way to manifest things is to maintain that vibration of gratitude. So that's a whole nother topic. We'll get into it. But I struggled with gratitude lists, right? It was like, what am I grateful? Well, sure. Okay. I'm grateful for my mom and my dad and my sisters, and I'm grateful for my husband. And then, even before I had kids, what were you great? Oh, I'm grateful that the sun comes up, and I'm grateful that the sun goes down, and I'm grateful that I have a job. All of these things that I was grateful for, I wasn't lying. It's not that I didn't appreciate these things in my life, but they were things that made why they came to the forefront as being grateful for them is they made my life easier. Things that I could count on, right? But to have gratitude and to embrace that element, there's so many other parts to it. I wasn't doing anything wrong. It just wasn't resonating with a practice, a spiritual practice of gratitude. It was more of creating a list of the things that I liked in my life, right? So when we do that, that's fine. That's awesome. We should all be grateful for the things that we like in our life, right? We should be able to make a list. Sometimes when we list the things that we're grateful in our lives, we'll often find things that we are missing. We'll often be led to find people, places, things that we want or that we want more of in our life, the things that are going to help us to create the identity that we want, right? But the other parts that I was missing out on until probably into my 40s was really what gratitude is and how to embody being grateful, right? To have a feeling of gratitude that travels with you and stays with you through the day, right? So it isn't so much, yes, I'm still grateful for all those things that I listed, right? But it's also the things that taught you lessons that you can be grateful for, right? And that helps us to see that we're one of the whole. The bad things that quote unquote, right? Those bad things, those lessons, those unwanted things, when we're able to find gratitude for those events that lead us to a certain place, that helps us to embody that sense of gratitude, right? I often remember when I was, I think it was in the late 90s, I had just graduated college and I came home and my mom had that. I have a feeling a lot of our parents and probably even some of us had this simple abundance gratitude, like a day of comfort book, right? It was Sarah Ban Breathna, I think. And it was like a pink cover with green. And it was this 365-day workbook journal, right? And I remember seeing it and thinking, oh, well, that's nice, right? But lately, it's been coming back into my life, and I've been going, I think that this is when in the late 90s, my mom, I think she was younger than I am now, but still this perimenopause, menopause, midlife time that women we find ourselves in, we often start searching for a little more knowing. a little more certainty, a little more strength in our identity so that we struggle with this passage of time of whether you have children getting older, whether you've been in the same job for 25 years and now you're wanting something else. There's this shift that happens, right? And so lately, when I've been thinking about my gratitude practice, which is so different in my, I'm now 50, so in my late 40s and this first year of 50s, is so different than when I was in my 20s and 30s and even early 40s. A lot of that was, I'm not sure what I'm doing, but this is what I should be doing, is my gratitude journal, right? And then I started to think about the things that I didn't want to lose, right? And or things that I liked throughout my day, right? Like I love a good pair of nice socks. Like a sock has to fit, and I'm so grateful when my sock feels good. So, but we take that and it's one step further. What does that mean? Right? So, for me to have a sock that feels good, when I sit and journal and kind of peel back the layers of that, a sock that fits makes me feel cared for. It's self-care. It's caring for myself when I wear things that feel good, right? So now I can bridge that into other areas of my life, right? So we might just say something silly like, God, I love my iced coffee in the morning. Well, why? Yes, I don't know. It probably tastes good, right? I know I like one. But why? We're going to dig deeper. It's in that peeling back the layers that you can find those cores. Like if you look at like the emotion wheel, you have your kind of core emotions in the center of the emotional wheel. And in the description of this episode, I'll give you a link to an emotional wheel so you can see what I'm talking about. And off of that comes a more descriptive, wider sense of it, but actually a deeper, right? You're getting a little more granular. It's like going from, happy to either ecstatic or content, right? You're taking happy and dissecting it, and then the wheel actually goes one other layer out. And so that's what it's like. So I'm saying my sock is bringing me gratitude. But if I dig deeper, what is that about? What am I craving and needing when I find joy in this act of putting on a sock that fits, right? Because I know when I put on a sock that doesn't fit, it can I can spiral people. Like not good. So, what am I looking for? Right. So, that's what I would encourage you to do when you sit down and do your gratitude lists, your journal, thinking about what you want from this life, right? These, um, the book is that simple abundance, right? The day of a day of comfort, right? So we can take a look at what we're calling in, right? When we talk about gratitude, we can use it, like I mentioned before, to manifest. And so when I know what my kind of purpose is for choosing the things that bring me gratitude, why am I led to feel gratitude about a particular thing? It's going to show me what I value. And this goes back to about when I said this time of our lives, we start to feel a little bit like, okay, I need something, I'm searching for something. That value that we've found out from dissecting our gratitude journal, if we have a value that's not being expressed in our life, that is going to cause us to have an identity shift, an identity crisis, if you will, right? You have a core value that's not being expressed. And that's what I find in midlife for us women is we're having values that aren't being expressed. And so the way to find there's so many ways to discover your values, but this particular teachings and tangents is on learning how to take our gratitude list, the things that bring us joy, right? And finding out what value that is connected to, right? When I am hit with that my sock feels so good, and that is the only amount of I value that so much in my day to day. Beyond just getting dressed, right? I start to then notice that I haven't been caring for myself. If putting on the sock, it's not that I take it for granted when I care for myself in other ways. It's a reminder for myself that I'm needing this right now. Some days we need more than others, right? So, this caring for myself, I like to say caring for myself instead of self care because of society and what self care kind of means to the masses, right? It means I should be getting a spa, or I should be, doing whatever self-care, right? But caring for myself, caring for who I am and who I want to be. That's what I start to say, okay, where else in my life can I bring in this element of caring for myself? Giving myself what I need, right? And sometimes that involves other people, but more often than not, it's what we need, we can give to ourselves, right? So, with this gratitude, the questions that I want you to think about are when you're starting your day, you can say, how can I make today better? What can I bring into today that would allow me at the end of the day to have something to be grateful for, right? What are those little things that I can bring in, right? Um, if you know that one of your values is a certain something, ask how you can bring that in, right? Like, so humor. How can I bring humor and laughter and joy into my life today? And intentionally bringing that in, having that ability, or having that opportunity to be grateful for something, giving yourself that opportunity to be grateful. What brings you joy, right? What if you think about what are the traditions in your life that you're grateful for? There's a part of I forget where I heard, I think that there's a quote that's coming to mind, and I don't remember who said it, where I heard it, or anything. Again, another midlife thing, right? But gratitude can often be found if, imagine waking up and the things that you didn't express gratitude for were gone. What would you miss, right? Whether it's, I mean, we can find it in the little things. And again, they connect to our values, right? So as I'm saying this, on my chair, I have this cushion. I would be sad if I woke up tomorrow and my chair cushion was gone. Would it ruin my life? No, right? Could I rectify it and find another one? Sure, but I would be sad to wake up tomorrow and not have it be here, right? So for all these little things, what do those mean, right? This is an opportunity to care for myself, is having a comfortable chair to sit on, right? My family, being able to bring joy and provide for them, and care for them, right? That is a value of mine. And if I didn't have the opportunities to do that, I would miss that, right? So I want you to think about what tomorrow, if you were to wake up, what would you, and you didn't say thank you, or have gratitude towards something, what would that be that you would miss, right? So then we can kind of break that down further into where your values lie in that. So in the show notes, look for your emotional wheel so you can get a sense of what that looks like to bring out emotions, right? So to say your morning coffee makes you happy, let's dissect it even more. Exactly what is the emotion that that gives you, right? Is it respite? Is it that moment of right? Like people take their coffee and you can almost sense their shoulders relax and they're like, huh, I needed that, right? So, or what is your morning walk for you, right? All of these things that bring us joy have that opportunity for gratitude. All of the things that challenge us can also give us some gratitude. So look at your life. Where can you cultivate more of that feeling? All right. And we'll see you next week.